Hi, I'm Jenna Gomez. I'm a certified prosthetist orthotist at our hangar office in Parker, Colorado.
And I'm Cameron Athey. I am a certified orthotist and the clinic manager at the same office here in Parker, Colorado.
Great. So Jenna and Cameron, how often do you work with surgeons on amputations?
It's probably a few a month, and we generally assist the patient after the surgery, providing a protective device for their limb. Sometimes we'll meet with the patient beforehand and just kind of provide some counseling, for lack of a better word, just kind of tell them what to expect after the surgery, what to expect those first couple months with those life changes, and then kind of the process of getting a new prosthesis and getting started.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, there's not a lot of direct interaction at the time of amputation, but like Jenna said, it's mostly post-op follow-up care.
So how often do you encounter high stress situations?
Not high stress, like direct patient interaction high stress. So there's not really a lot of OR, ER, high stress situations that way. There's other stressful things within the field, like numbers, things like that are, stressful, like kind of volume, daily basis type stuff, but nothing like ER, OR, that type of stress. Nothing life or death.
Yes. I think the most urgent situation we'd come across would be if someone broke their brace or broke their prosthesis, and you have to try to fix it as quickly and efficiently as possible. But again, not a life or death situation for our patients, really.
Yeah.
All right, and one last question for you guys. What would you tell an aspiring prosthetist or orthotist?
Good question. Want to start?
Yeah, so I think from the start, I would say that the field is super encouraging. You get to help a lot of people, which is, kind of the path that I took to get here. The job that I had prior to coming into this field, it wasn't that way. And that's the encouraging part about the field, is that you get to help people. And it's super encouraging, daily basis, it's always different. You get to put a smile on people's faces. I would say, kind of as a warning, that there's a lot to it. There's a lot of patient load. You see a lot of patients, and it is a business. In the end, there's budgets that we have to meet, there's deadlines we have to meet, and patients are dependent on you to get their things done. So there is workload to it, and that kind of leads to the other question about a little bit more stress on that side. But in the end, it's fulfilling and encouraging.
I think I would let young clinicians know that it's going to be a lifetime of learning and a lifetime of problem solving. No two patients are alike, so sometimes you have to come up with new solutions for them. But that's also kind of the fun part, is the new innovations and the new technology, and that's always good. I think something else to just be aware of is that we get in this field because we want to help people and we care about people, but it's important to kind of set that work-life balance boundaries so that you're able to still spend time with and take care of your own families as well.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Erica Haggerty, and I'm an area office manager for Hanger, so I cover the admin side of Colorado Springs and the Pueblo clinics.
Erica, how did you become interested in prosthetics?
My background is in athletic training, so I was an athletic trainer for a long time and then decided to make a jump to the admin side, and Hanger and prosthetics kind of fit into my background. So having the medical background, but then switching over to the insurance side, so it kind of all blended together. So it was a great avenue for an athletic trainer looking to not be clinical anymore.
Erica, how common are hostile patients in this field?
It's definitely something that happens. There's a lot of moving parts in this field. You have your patients who are in pain. They want their items, their prosthetics, so they can live their day-to-day life, but you're also fighting insurance, and so that can be very frustrating for patients. So just kind of navigating through that process kind of helps elevate that.
All right, my name is Kyle. I've been in prosthetics and orthotics for about 7 years now. I got introduced into the field through my brother-in-law, who got my foot in the door as a prosthetic orthotic technician. The day-to-day, the day-to-day, responsibilities of a technician is to receive jobs from practitioners to make orthotic braces or prosthetic sockets or limbs. That differs a little bit between the clinicians because they see the patients, they kind of design or come up with the game plan, and then they send it to the technician who actually fabricates the product.
All right, what was the workload like in college?
So for a technician, there's two avenues you can go. You can get your foot in the door in the field and just get trained under certified practitioners, or you can go to school for a technician, which I think is about a year to 18 months, and then you can get certified that way, or you can get certified by getting a certain amount of hours under a clinician, and then you can test to become a certified technician. And then now I've transitioned into a clinician role, so I see patients day to day, and in order to become a certified prosthetist orthotist, you have to go to school for 2 years and then do an 18 to 24 month residency. So it depends on what avenue you want to go. I've done both.
All right, is there a lot of overtime and work on the weekends?
As a technician or a fabricator building the braces, it depends on the workload. So I would say it's kind of up to you how much you want to work and what your workload is like. It's classically a 40-hour-a-week job, and there's always more hours on the table if you want it.
And as a prosthetist, would there be work on the weekends, or what's that look like?
Not usually work on the weekends unless you're on call, and we do have an on-call schedule where we have to cover hospitals on the weekends, but those are far and few, one weekend every about 2 months or so.
And how involved are you in building the prosthetic limb?
Again, the technician role, that's all you do. As a clinician, if you have that skill set, you can be involved with it. Generally, they're two different fields now. As a clinician, you're seeing patients, you're designing it, you're kind of modifying the molds, and then you're sending them to the technician who actually is the one building it. But you can do both. It's integrated if you want, or if you got that skill set.
Hi, my name is Tobias Cassandi, and I am the prosthetic technician at Hanger Clinic.
Tobias, tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily basis, and specifically the materials needed to create the prosthetics.
Okay, as the prosthetic technician, it's my job to take the casts and the check sockets that come from the clinicians and turn those into the definitive sockets that patients will then wear for their daily activities. Certain materials that we use are mostly carbon fiber. This is a really tough woven material that we'll use in a lot of the sockets, or its alternative. This is called NSP. It is a less itchy version of carbon fiber, so when you sand this, it doesn't itch as much, and it's a lot lighter and can be heat molded to a certain degree. And then from there, we have a cotton called, I can't grab it right now, but we have a cotton interlayer called NSP that we'll put in between the carbon fiber so that it could soak the resin through more thoroughly. If you don't have that in between layer, the carbon doesn't really like to stick to itself and it doesn't cure off very well. Okay, so this is one of the sockets that we've completed. As you can see, it's a full leg here. This is what's called an AK, or an above knee socket. You see there's a hole here, and it's because the component that we're using in this socket is what's called a lanyard plate. So essentially what happens is a strap is fed through here, and then you pull it upward to here where there's going to be a D-ring that you can lock into, and that's how it's suspended on the patient's limb. And then we go down here. Here's some of the connecting components that we use. These can be adjusted based on the patient's height or weight level or activity level. And then this is an analog knee, so it's completely analog, no electronics involved. The patient can walk with it, doesn't have to charge it or anything like that. The alternative to this is what's called a C-leg, or a leg that has electronics involved, and you can use an app to control the gait and the motion and the level of activity for it. So that's a full leg right here.
Hello, my name is Jeff Talon. My official title is Area Clinic Manager. I'm also a certified prosthetist orthotist, also known as CPO. My responsibility is I oversee 5 managers, clinic managers, and a total of 6 clinics here in the southern region of Colorado. I do still see patients, but most of my day is the day-to-day management duties of these 6 clinics.
How did you become interested in prosthetics?
That's a very good question, and it's a bit comical. My original goal out of high school was to become a mechanical engineer. So I was in engineering school. I came back my first summer after my freshman year, and the job I had lined up for the summer had fallen through, and proceeded to look for another job for about 2 weeks. My dad came home at the end of that 2 weeks and said, well, if you don't have a job, you need to get out of the house. So I called my cousin who was in the field, and he hired me as a technician. I did that for the rest of my undergrad, every summer, every Christmas break, every spring break, and then he had convinced me to go to graduate school after I graduated with my undergrad degree. And 20 years later, I'm still in the field.
How was the residency program?
Oh wow, so my residency was probably 15, 16 years ago. A little bit different then than it is now, but I worked a lot of late hours, but I learned a lot as well. You really just start off shadowing the first couple of months, and then as you learn more and more, they still supervise your patient care, but by year 2 you can start seeing patients independently. So a typical residency is 2 years, 1 year for orthotics, 1 year for prosthetics. Then once you're done with that, you can sit for your board examinations, which is a total of 6, 3 for orthotics and 3 for prosthetics.
Is being a prosthetist worth it?
That's a great question. I would say at the end of the day, it is very worth it. We have the opportunity to help people and help them regain their mobility, get back to work, get back to their activities of daily living. And if it weren't for the hoops we had to jump through for insurance and authorizations and things like that, it's a very positive field to be in.
What would you tell an aspiring prosthetist?
There's a lot of things to consider when you want to get into this field. You have to really be good with your hands. You know, it is the medical field, but we do build things, not only prosthetics, but orthotics. A lot of different devices, anywhere from your head all the way to your toes, back braces, halos, ankle foot orthotics, above knee prosthetics, below the knee prosthetics, upper extremity prosthetics. So you have to really study in school your biomechanics, your anatomy, but you also have to be able to work with your hands and enjoy that. So I think it's a medical field, but it's also a mechanical field, and that's why I really enjoy it. I love working with my hands, but I also love working with people. So those are just a few things on the surface level that you'd want to consider before you get into this field. So this is just a quick insight on kind of the beginning stages of building and designing a prosthesis. So this is plaster cast material that we wrap around the patient's residual limb, and then we fill it with plaster. That way we have an exact positive model of the patient's limb. So we'll smooth all this out. We'll make some modifications for the bony prominences, make sure the tension values are correct so the prosthesis is snug enough. Smooth it all out. Then we hand it over to Tobias, and he'll first do a diagnostic socket, which is clear plastic like that. Patient will try on the diagnostic socket first because we can see through it and analyze the fit. If that fits well, then we give it back to Tobias and he'll make it out of carbon fiber.